Welcome to my top 10 favorite NES games. This is number 9, Top Gun. Now I have beaten this game before. It's kind of hard to do. It all depends on whether I can get to the end before dying 3 times. Developed and published by Konami. Actually, I'm not sure if it was developed by Konami, but it was published by them. Mission 1, training for the next mission. Now normally for this mission I'll go ahead with the Hound missiles, you get 40 of them, but the power is only 1, or X1, not sure exactly what the letters and numbers mean on the, I don't know if it's supposed to be times 1 or X1. Almost sounds like Atari sound effects right there. Press the A button to shoot there, or you can press the B button to lock onto a plane. Press it a second time to fire. Your altitude goes up and down. Press down on your keypad to go up, down to, and up to go down. Oh, avoid those missiles shooting at you, because if you get hit by a missile, you're dead. You only get 3 lives. You gotta rock back and forth to get rid of these guys. You get guys in your tail, just keep hitting right and left, back and forth. I usually keep my nose pointed up, that way if there's an oncoming plane that shoots a missile, I might be able to dodge it instead of getting hit. Actually kind of boring though, most of it. If you get hit by them orange bullets, you got a health meter down there at the bottom, those red dashes in the bottom middle of the screen. There was a missile shooting at me. That gets really annoying. The only real fun part of the game is landing the plane. We'll be getting there very shortly. You can tell by the field gauge. You get to the landing sequence just before it reaches down to 2. There we go. And first you're going to sit there and wait for your altitude to go down, and you just want to keep your speed at right around, I think it's 200 and the altitude around 288, or it's vice versa. That's what you want to pretty much focus on while you're landing. You've seen AVGNs videos, he has a hard time landing the plane. The altitude 200 and speed 288. So I gotta get my altitude down. As long as your altitude and speed are pretty close to the requirements, should have no problem landing the plane. Okay, mission 2, destroy an enemy aircraft. Now for this one I picked the strongest missiles. I'm not going to waste them on any of the jets, and we're just going to save them for the last, for the aircraft carrier at the end. And you do not want to point your nose down at all in this stage, otherwise you're going to have aircraft carriers shooting missiles at you. By the way, if you crash your plane during the landing sequence, it costs you a life. So yeah, so here we're flying over the water. You want to keep your nose up so we don't make contact with any missiles, and if you can't avoid the missiles, you can try shooting them out of the air. See that circle on the radar, that hollow circle is an aircraft carrier in the water. All the white dots are jets. See, for the most part, it's kind of boring. See, I could go ahead and waste the missiles in the first stage because there's nothing to shoot at the end of the stage. But in this one you want to save your missiles for the very end of the stage, and the stronger the missiles, the less it's going to take to blow up the final aircraft carrier. And in this stage, my fuel is going to run low, and I'm going to have to hook up a hose, a fueling hose up to my jet to refuel. Kind of like landing, you got to speed up and have all your altitude a certain time, and pretty much just timing and aiming. I already did a full video on this game, and I don't think I passed it in that video. My fuel's going to be running low pretty soon. When it gets down to 2 bars, it's going to say low fuel. There it is. You know, this is kind of funny right here. So, as this plane's trying to connect with me, all the enemies decide they're not going to shoot at me, they're just going to leave me alone. And we get something different here with music. So we got to speed up. Cool. So you get kind of a time limit. If you don't get it within a certain amount of time, eventually the plane just leaves. And when you run out of fuel, your plane blows up. Which is kind of stupid. I mean, how often do you see a jet blow up because it ran out of fuel? What they should do is, like, have a cutscene where it shows a crash landing in the ocean. Be at least more realistic. So far, I still have all 3 lives. Now, I don't see anything on here that shows how many lives I got. Never really noticed before. Game I used to rent quite a bit when I was younger. I made a second game, Top Gun 2, the second mission, and I hated that game because if you point your nose up at the sky the way I got right now, you don't keep going straight up. Eventually it turns your plane all the way around. So you're going, oh, that was close. So eventually if you keep holding down on the keypad, your plane will point straight up and then turn all the way around where you're flying upside down and backwards. It's really annoying. Worst thing about it is the cartridges look so much the same. You gotta look real close to make sure whether it's the second mission or the original. There was one time when I went and I don't know if I bought the game or rented the game, but it turned out it wasn't the one I thought it was the second one. Okay, so I gotta start shooting missiles at this aircraft carrier. And I gotta avoid the missiles they shoot at me. First target. That's what a 8-bit explosion looks like. Okay, so here we go again. Landing sequence. That was nasty. I very rarely crash, but oh well, I lost one life. Was my speed too low or was my altitude too low? And that was pretty close. I have a feeling I'm not going to pass the game though. I died already. We're halfway through the game right now. Total of 4 missions. nothing on there to indicate how many lives I got. So I guess you just gotta remember. The land is the same as the water. If you point your nose down, you're gonna have bases shooting missiles at you. It's going to be kind of hard doing my top 10 Super Nintendo games, considering I only have like 45, 46 games, whereas with the Nintendo games I have over 80 games. You know, one of my favorite NES games is a game I don't have. Whoa, I was going to try shooting it, but luckily it went off the screen. But Motor City Patrol is would have been one of on my top 10 list, but I don't have the game, so I couldn't do that, but I plan on getting it someday. We're going to have to do the fuel thing again here pretty soon. That was close. Thumb gets kind of tired. Sometimes I'll take my left thumb off the directional button and put my right thumb on it. Rest my left thumb, but if I need to shoot him, I'm going to be kind of in trouble if I need to shoot real quick. And here we go again. Pay more attention to the actual picture in that screen there instead of reading what it says. It just seems to be easier. All weekend to play games, and I really didn't get around to playing any. Well, Friday I called in sick for work. I didn't get around to playing any games on Friday because I was just way too sick. I'm getting a real bad cold. Yes. Saturday I ended up playing a couple games. Maybe one game. I think the hockey game might have been the only one I played. And today I got a few games played. I did pinball. I did the last video, Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. Now this one. I'll probably be doing another one right after this. Still got a little phlegm left, cough that I'm coughing up, but other than that, my cold's pretty well gone. Had a hard time sleeping last night, so I hope I'm tired enough to sleep tonight. Okay, if you don't get out of the danger area in a certain amount of time, you get shot down. It's the same thing as the last one, just keep shooting missiles at it, avoid their missiles. Either dodging them or shooting them. Keep swaying back and forth too, you might have noticed last time. Okay, now let's land the plane this time. Altitude is too high. Now, that was almost perfect. There's no way I'm going to pass it. Now, that might be the first time in 30 years that I've died twice landing a plane in one game. Okay, this is the final mission, and sad thing is, even if I destroy the final boss in the stage, I still have to land the plane. And if I fail here, I die. It goes from like kind of nighttime to dark nighttime to day, and you're going over like ocean and land. Oh, game over. I wonder if the missiles shoot a little faster in the further you get through the game. So anyways, that was Top Gun. I failed once again. Hope you enjoyed it. Next I'm going to do my my 8th favorite game. And I'm not sure if I should mention, like in this video, what the next video is going to be. Or maybe keep it a surprise, so I'll give a hint. It's another Konami game. Actually, there's a few Konami games in my top 10 list, so anyways, I hope you enjoyed that game, and I'll see you in the next video.